What in the name of the 12 is going on, guys? Welcome back to Emerald City Sports, the podcast. Once again, with me is the GOAT, Emerald City Sports, Joshua Ngo, and I'm Seahawks Martin, and we've got more stuff to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, especially the Seahawks and their rough 2 weeks of preseason football so far. And then we're going to branch out a little bit. We're talking some U.S. men's national soccer team and their leaked jerseys. And Josh and I will um, react and see how it looks. But first off, Josh, the Seahawks. We all have high hopes. It's gonna be a tough season. We all know that. We don't have Russell anymore. We don't have Bobby anymore. So we're looking to the future. This preseason was sort of where we had like an eye test to see how well can this team do. And these first 2 weeks have not been so great. We're starting off with the Seahawks going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. In that game, the Steelers with the last second touchdown beat the Seattle Seahawks 32-25. Josh, what were your takeaways from that game?
Um, it's just been downhill. We lost both of them. Yes, the games don't count, but it just shows how bad just our bench. I mean, I feel like the preseason games is more about the bench, really, than the starters, as they only have maybe a drive or something. But even with that, Steelers, Geno Smith was bad in that game, and then the one drive, he took in Thursday's game against the Bears was also horrible, stuttered, stopped, and then following that rest of the Bears game, the bench just sucked.
Yeah. Something we can point out from the Steelers game is that Drew Lock, he was 11 for 15, so he only missed 4 completions. Not bad. Now Gino missed 5, but he was 10 for 15, so they were pretty close. But I think the thing that stood out was that Drew Lock he got 2 touchdowns and Gino had none. So that would have made it a little tighter. And so we were all like, okay, no, Drew Lock isn't that bad. I mean, look at the run game too. DJ Dallas was pretty darn good. Travis Homer, Kenneth Walker showed some stuff. And the offensive line in this first game, Charles Cross and Abe Lucas really showed that. They can be the new leaders of this offensive line. Josh, what did you think of Cross and Lucas?
On Thursday night, just special about Cross, we kept on seeing his name a lot as he got. I don't even know how many. I think he got like 4 false start penalties. He wasn't able to handle the quarterback. Keep in mind though, it was I think mostly Jacob Eason he was with. But will we see that go into the regular season of Cross jumping a lot? And then Abe Lucas just I think is still good, but still we just I think he needs more improvement.
And something that we've seen in these 2 preseason games on the defense, there are missed tackles left and right. Josh, is this a coaching issue, a player issue? What's going on? They keep missing.
I think it's just like a change. I don't really think it's the coaching because Seahawks have had nearly the same coaching for a long time, but I think it's just the difference of like the situation. I think like the offense is like changing as well, and then the defense is just trying to keep up with that, but also losing Bobby Wagner this past offseason, the leader of the defense for these past few years. Just been a lot of changes, and the Seahawks have to adapt very, very quickly if they want to stay on track to maybe get some sort of shot or even just try to win a game. We don't even, I mean, the expectation are now just a huger question mark than like past few months.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Seahawks fan, you're like, the preseason doesn't matter. You are not a real fan if you don't care about the preseason this year. This is completely different. We are like, it's like erasing everything you've done and then starting all over again. We need to see how this goes. So, I mean, this is a really big preseason, and obviously it's not going very well. That second game, the Chicago Bears came to town, and there's no way to say it. It was an awful game. The Chicago Bears won 27-11. The only reason the Seahawks got those few points was because of garbage time. Geno Smith absolutely stunk. Josh, I gotta say it, man. I told you so. I told you that Geno Smith was not the guy. Now, Drew Lock, Pete, he literally said before that Drew Lock's going to start the second game, and then Drew Lock gets COVID. That's just great. At this point, I don't even care. Put Drew Lock in because the way Geno Smith played, it was abysmal. He was playing against like the third stringers of the Chicago Bears defense, and he could not move the ball except for that 41-yard, I will admit, a dime to Penny Hart. But other than that, he played awful. 10 for 18, 112 yards, barely was able to move the ball. Look, I get some of it was on the offensive line, especially Charles Cross with his false starts and penalties and stuff. But Drew Lock, I mean, not Drew Lock, Geno Smith, you're the leader, bro. You need to be able to drive this team down the field against a third string defense. If you can't lead a offense against a third string defense, there's no way you're surviving the regular season, man. So I mean, heck, Jacob Eason outplayed him. His he was 17 for 35, not so great, but he threw for more yards. He was able to actually score for the offense. So I mean, Josh, at this point, what are you gonna say, man? I think Drew Lock deserves that starter spot, even with COVID.
I mean, Jacob Eason, yes, outplayed him in stats, but did he outplay him in the players? I mean, not really. I mean, he beat third string players. Does that mean he should be, just because he had a good day today, does that mean he should be the starting quarterback? I don't
No,
think so.
Jacob Eason definitely not because he's the third string, obviously. But you know what? Let's see next week. If Drew Lock is able to come back next week, I think he will be on fire. Mark my words. I'm predicting it right here. Drew Lock is going to be on fire that third game if he's able to come back. But we heard from Pete that his symptoms are bad. He's having a lot of trouble. The symptoms are really getting up to him. So, I mean, prayers up to Drew Lock. And, I mean, Josh, let's get away from the quarterback situation for a bit. Everything else about the game just seemed to be really bad. The defense was missing the tackles again. Marquise Blair had a really bad day. He missed tackles left and right. His spot might be in jeopardy at this point. Josh, what is the defense doing?
I don't know. I mean, you can sort of blame it on the short rest since it was a Thursday night game. They only had, what is it, 5 days of rest? But it just shows you really need. I think with the loss of basically the team captains of both the offense and the defense gone this offseason, the Seahawks are waking up to see how important the guys are. They're like, oh, he's so overpaid. Let's just trade him away for some cheap picks, some cheap quarterbacks and stuff. But there's a reason you pay the guy a lot of money to lead because he's really good at doing his job. And when both those players are gone and no one is stepping up, you see the consequences. And that's what we've seen these past 2 weeks. And that's what we're probably going to see in the regular season.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. It's that defense really needs issues. I mean, again, the starters are not in there, but I mean, even when you're a backup, you need to be able to wrap up those guys. Um, it's been rough, but on the offensive side, man, those receivers had a really rough day. I think the only receiver that did actually pretty good was Penny Hart with his 40-plus yard catch. But a running back led the team in receiving yards. That was DJ Dallas with 52 receiving yards. Everyone else had a really rough day. Aaron Fuller, he dropped a few. Bo Melton had a rough day. Cade Johnson's spot might be in jeopardy after his muffed punt. And Freddie Swain, he had a few balls go through his hands. Josh, what do these receivers need to do to keep their spot in there? I mean, we get that DK Lockett in there, but like that number 3 wide receiver spot, it's still up for grabs. If Swain, this is Swain's job to lose at this point. So I mean, what did the receivers got to do?
I think just the simplest thing, catch the ball. Yes, you get okay passes. You only get okay passes from Jano Smith and Jacob Eason, but there was a bunch of drop passes last night that I think they should be able to grab. Yes, most of these plays are just planned plays that you have to run, but if you can't catch the ball, why are you a receiver?
Ooh, that's tough, Josh. But a bright side, I think, was the running game. Homer, Dallas, and heck, Darwin Thompson, they were all pretty darn good. Darwin Thompson, he really got his chance to shine in this game. He was able to get a hurdle over a guy, a touchdown. It was pretty darn good. Josh, those running backs, they are pretty good. Do you think they could really be able to back up and get some depth for K Walker and Rashad Penny?
I don't know, and I don't really think so because there's no real evidence that shows that they could be able to they can handle it. Because I mean, the most of the preseason is just backups playing against backups, using plays that coaches call and not their own, and I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, that's enough Seahawks for today. It's a little rough. Let's see if they can at least bounce back against Dallas next week before the preseason starts with Russell coming back. Oh, another. Actually, I'm gonna stay on the CS for a little bit. The game against Chicago. Am I the only one that thought the announcers were a little annoying?
Mm,
Uh,
I think they were fine, but I think they were just kind of annoyed because they're not used to the Seahawks being destroyed.
I guess you get it there. I mean, like, heck. I mean, I know from a Seahawks standpoint, but they really were trashing on the Bears, to be honest with you. Like, they made it sound like the Bears were some like a team that was worse than the Seahawks, which probably is not true at this rate. And then there was just some things in there that like they were identifying the wrong person, or they were just saying the wrong things at the wrong time. It was really weird. I guess that's probably why Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were paid a lot of money to join ESPN. But moving on, Josh, you told me about this earlier today. I don't know a lot of men's soccer, but I know Josh really loves soccer. So, Josh, I guess you should talk about this.
Sure. So you don't need to be a soccer fan. This doesn't have to do with the soccer. This does not have to do with soccer, the game specifically. You don't need to know anything about soccer to know this. But just today, some fan went up to Dick's Sporting Goods store and found that some worker accidentally put the United States men's national team World Cup kit already on display 1 month before they were about to be released. And now that we have both the kits that you can see, hopefully on your screen, hopefully I put that there, they're kind of awful. And before you say, oh, this is probably some trick, oh, it's some scam or something, Weston McKinney, if you don't know, U.S. men's national team player, has confirmed that they are real and had asked Nike why they had done this. But just completely awful jerseys, no graphic or anything. But imagine turning on your television, watching the World Cup, watching the United States who will be playing on the second day of the World Cup with those on. Completely horrible. Just horrible.
Yeah, it looks really bad. I mean, like you don't even have to be a fan of sports just to look at uniforms and think they're drippy. Like the Rams, uniforms are drippy. The Bengals uniforms are really cool. The Seahawks uniforms are cool. But this right here, the U.S. men's national team, this is bad. That blue jersey, it looks like a 5-year-old went and tie dyed it and did a really bad job. Like that looks like my talent with tie dyeing. I am really bad at tie dyeing shirts, and that looks like I did that. It was bad. The white jersey, it's just really too basic to be honest. Like Josh was telling me, the 2018 jerseys looked a lot better than this. So this must come as a big disappointment to soccer fans for U.S. all around the nation. Josh, I bet you're a lot really disappointed with this too.
Yeah. And Nike actually is on a 10-year partnership with the United States men's national team, which is horrible because you can't leave them. They're going to be there for a long time making just
Well,
horrible, just, yeah.
this will be a quite a sight for some folks. That's gonna be great, Josh. Got anything else to add?
Uh, Not really, but we'll move on. If you watched last week's episode, Martin completely stumped me with 3 trivia questions. Yay! So it's my turn to crack down and let's see if Martin knows some trivia. 3 sports: hockey,
Oh my.
baseball, and football.
Well, I already know I'm not gonna get the hockey one. I do not watch hockey at all.
You're gonna be lucky.
When the Seattle Kraken came to town, I was like, oh, cool. Okay, whatever. Go back to the Seahawks. That was me when the Kraken came. So I'm definitely gonna get this one wrong.
I mean, to
Fire
be fair,
away, Josh.
to be fair, before we start, the Kraken I feel like will be the reason the Sonics are actually going to come back to Seattle. So without them, there's not a reason for Climate Pledge Arena to be there. Storm also helped a bit too.
Don't forget the Storm.
Playoffs, during the playoffs, 1-1. Yes, let's go. But they could be a reason Sonics coming back to Seattle. Now moving on.
I
Question
really
number
hope so.
1. The Seattle Mariners logo right behind me. Okay. So last year, nearing the end of their playoff push, the Mariners had the slogan "Believe," right?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I think
You
I see
know
where
the
this is going.
posters. What show did it come from,
Ted Lasso.
and when did they give it out?
Well,
Again,
I know it's
who
from.
did they give it out against?
Okay, so I know the show is Ted Lasso because that was all I heard from Mike Salk for like 5 days. Just talked about Ted Lasso and Believe for a whole week of his show. But the opponent where they gave the signs out to, my gut is telling me the Angels because that was the last stand for the season. So I'm gonna say Los Angeles Angels.
That's correct, and you
Let's
beat me already.
go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Okay. Maybe I'm not that bad. That was a
Okay.
baseball question, though.
Now the other two, you got to be lucky. I think you will be lucky. Question number 2, we'll go to hockey. Seattle Kraken. Brandon Tanev, who played 30 games with the Kraken before suffering a season-ending injury. He was drafted in 2017 before being picked up in the expansion draft, obviously. How many teams has he played for before being drafted by the Kraken?
Well, this one I'm getting wrong. I only know Brandon Tanev because of course it's because of football because DJ Dallas had like this funny headshot and he said it was because he did it because of Brandon Tanev because like the eyes are wide open. It's really funny. Um, I know nothing about hockey, so of course I'm gonna get this one wrong. But I'm gonna say 3.
Let me just clarify real quickly. How many NHL teams did he play? NHL teams that he played for, not minor league. Just how many NHL teams have he
Okay.
played for before being signed by the Seattle Kraken? Just saying.
Okay.
Could be 3. Could be.
I think it's just 1 then.
Well, it's so close. It was 2. It was the Winnipeg Jets.
Hey, it was close. It was close.
And the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Learned something new today. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. It's a football one. I better get this one, or else
It's the football.
Disappointed.
Final question. Will be about the former Seahawk that I talked about today, Bobby Wagner.
Great.
Let me see. Let me find it. Okay. He has said in an interview that he has 2 dream vacation destinations. Fiji and what continent?
Fiji in what continent?
And what continent?
In what continent? I do not get like this close to like knowing about Bobby Wagner's personal life, so I've never heard of this interview before. So I mean, I guess I have to guess. I have a 1 in 7 chance. It definitely cannot be Antarctica. So because that'd be really weird. So I guess I have a 1.
It could be Antarctica. I mean, it is a continent.
What is there in Antarctica to do? Like, I mean, polar bears or whatever it is. But
He has a husky.
What? Okay. I'm still gonna rule out Antarctica. This is hard. It can't be North America because he's already living in North America.
Mm-hmm.
South America would be nice to go to. Europe, he's been to Europe already for the London game. Asia is a really nice continent. And then Australia. I guess I have a 1 in 5 chance or something. Let's see. I feel like I'm taking a multiple choice test with like I have no clue what to do. Um, let's see here. I'm just gonna go with Asia.
Bobby Wagner, his two dream vacation destinations were Fiji and Africa.
Wait. I didn't even think of Africa. I'm such an idiot. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm an idiot. I'm gonna fail world history this year, aren't I? This is
He
great.
wants to go there because he wants to pet a lion.
Ooh, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. Dang. One for well, I mean, I did better than you,
You
Josh.
did better. Yeah.
1 for 3. And I got it in the baseball question, so that's not too bad. Oh well. Oh well. 33%. Still technically fail, but it's all good. So that's it for episode 9, ladies and gentlemen. One more episode until episode 10. We are this close, and I hope Joshua and I can get it out before school starts. Because I mean, when school, we're going to high school. It's gonna be great. But that's it for episode 9 for Mr. City, Emerald City Sports right here. I don't even know where I'm pointing. I'm for Mr. Emerald City Sports and for me, Seahawks Martin. This is it. But stay tuned. Josh is coming up with something really cool on his channel really quick. The link for his channel will be in the comments and the description, most likely. So stay tuned, check it out. It's gonna be awesome. He already told me. I'm not gonna tell you guys because I want it to be a surprise. It's gonna be great. We'll see you guys for episode 10 next time. And from now on, so long. Go Hawks, go Mariners, go all Seattle sports teams.